Hello, welcome to AI-powered marketing. This is David. Today's topic is unlocking the secrets of marketing with AI. So an overview of what we'll discuss: what exactly is AI? How can I fit it in with my marketing? How will that help my company? What exactly is conversational analytics? We'll talk about the patient journey and what parts of it get used in AI. We'll talk about attribution and KPIs, along with incorporating the technology into your company. So, quite simply, AI is a branch of computer science that deals with the simulation of intelligent behavior in computers. The objective with marketing and AI is to use it to improve the response you get from your marketing, grow the business cost effectively, improve the customer experience and selection along with satisfaction, and optimize logistic speed and the quality of how you do your marketing. So, in other words, we're trying to improve on the adage of the P's. Now, there's a lot of P's in marketing. We're going to use AI to better market the right product to the right person at the right time. That's not a P. In the right place for the right price. Okay? So, when it comes to the product and the services, why do your customers buy from you? That's something that AI can help further delineate. And also the target market. Are you advertising to the right person? Place, knowing how customers prefer to be reached. And some of that goes to attribution, meaning where do most of your customers come from? Is it a medium such as Facebook? Is it Twitter, Instagram? Is it television, radio? That can be figured out as well. Price works two ways. One comes down to just acquisition cost. What does it cost you to acquire a new customer? Also, what's the price to the customer? Is there a sweet spot that they're willing to pay? Or is it not really about price? Is it more about the value proposition? New P's that have been added over the years, such as promotion. How do you create the awareness that gets through the clutter of advertising on a daily basis? And then process. How do you move people through the customer journey to get them to the decision process? So, statistic-wise, 75% of organizations that implement AI with machine learning noticed an increase of sales by at least 10%. That was a study from a couple years ago. A more recent one by Infosys showed an average of 43% increase in revenue. So, it continues to show better and better numbers. That same study from Infosys showed a reduced customer acquisition cost by up to 50%. So if you increase revenue substantially and decrease what it costs you to get new customers, that's a huge return on investment with AI. So what we're talking about is using your data funnel. You want to not only use the available data that you have, but also add in what's missing, okay? Most companies use only about 1 to 5% of the actual data that they collect because most of it is unstructured. It's what's called big data, and you don't really have a way of putting it into a spreadsheet or something like that. And that's where the AI machine comes in to help. But a lot of the data could be unstructured, such as phone calls or social media posts, things like that, which normally you'd have no way of using. But for now, we have the machine that can help to use the phone call recordings, for instance, turn it into structured data, generate more qualified leads. You can use the data to also turn into key performance indicators, which can help drive marketing decisions. And on the back end, the machine learning part of the AI can actually optimize what it's doing to improve the whole process and decrease your customer acquisition cost even more. So what exactly is conversational analytics? Well, it's a technology that transcribes the speech and then converts it into data. So, instead of having a staff member sit there for hours on end listening to phone calls and trying to figure out patterns and, which operators are good or bad or which one leads to more sales, let the machine do it. The data then gets structured so that conversations can be analyzed for insights and KPIs and actionable decisions. So what is a phone lead worth? Well, it's gold, really. A phone call is worth between 500% and 1,000% more in revenue than a completed form will ever generate. That's 5 to 10 times more. That was a study by Marketland. The customer is present. He or she has already shown they're interested in your company and product, and they're likely impressed by the immediacy of your response. So acquisition attribution. First of all, I want you to try and say that 10 times really fast. Acquisition attribution. Tongue tied. But what that means is, where are you getting your customers from? What is the actual channel that's bringing in those customers? The average used to be 3 to 5 touch points before somebody would become a customer or a viable sales lead. Now it's up to more like 6 to 8 to 12. A new study by Google showed that. So there's so much advertising now and so many channels that it can take longer to reach that sales lead point. You can see the diagram there, just a small number, email, direct, go to the website directly, seminars, paid search, it goes on. We know that pay-per-click on average is only about 5% effective, meaning that somebody clicks on an ad, they go to your website, only about 5% of the time will they actually call, fill out a form, any of those things. The other 95% of the time, they just bounce away. And what can often happen is, if you don't have the appropriate retargeting mechanisms in place, then it's just money down the tubes. So there's what we think happens, where they click, see what they want, and then call, and then what really happens. So here's a few examples. They may hear a radio ad, then they may go to your website, then they say, I want to see a little more. So they look up reviews of your company, then they actually make a phone call, okay? Or maybe they saw something on a Facebook news feed, then they saw a billboard on the way to work, then they went and signed up for a webinar off of your website. Then it may be turned into a sales lead. So as you can see, these all involve multiple touch points. So you want to be in their crosshairs when they're ready to buy. So attribution pull-through sort of looks like this. So let's say, I'm going to use my arrow here. You have a display ad, they see that, and then later on they get hit on Facebook with an ad, and then later on they remember you, they look again, and they click on a paid search, and then they convert, right? How do you know which one of those actually was the most prominent with leading to the conversion? Or what combination, okay? It can be very confusing. AI is able to improve attribution through various coding, tracking, conversational analytics methods that can give you some KPIs to show where should I put more money so that I know that's working the best. It can go much farther than with traditional methods of attribution. So here's an example of a dashboard, KPI for a client, numbers, of how many calls that each of these centers gets overall, okay, through the call tracking mechanism. Now, out of those 14, the AI machine shows that this many are actual sales opportunities. This is the rate of sales opportunities versus existing patients or people just calling for directions or customers, things like that. This is the conversion rate, okay, and then the lead score. The AI machine is very good at figuring out and learning over time of what is a good lead, all right? Now, what is great about this is you can see how this company can see how each of these locations is doing, all right? So Phoenix is doing much better than Sioux City, all right? That seems to be a disaster in Sioux City. This is at a 10, by the way. So 2.5 is like 3 times less than Phoenix. So what's the problem? And what you can then look at is, are they not answering the phone? You can get a KPI for that. You can figure out how long these calls are lasting. And then you can actually spot check some of the ones for each location to figure out the differences and then do training on that, okay? So this has really helped this company with figuring out who's not sticking to the phone script, who's not doing a really good job of answering the phone, so on and so forth. Now, if you look at this heat map, which is another KPI for the same company, what it's showing is 1 week. So a Sunday through Saturday, it's showing all the calls that have come in at one of their locations. And as you can see, the total down here is 100%, right? So what it's showing is you're getting, a big spread of 2%, 2%, 2%. But the darker the green, the better the lead, okay? So we know that at 5 p.m. on Wednesday, those leads are terrible. They're not even green at all, all right? Now, the better leads are coming in 8 a.m., 9 a.m., 12 p.m. So sometimes it's more glaring than this, and what you can do is it can help you deploy your monies better with how you're advertising. And then you can also get a KPI on, okay, are the better leads coming from mobile or desktop? Which keywords are producing better leads? So you can really hone down into spending your monies better. So pulling it all together, the way it works is that initially all the KPIs are established, and that data goes into a client's customized dashboard and gets regularly updated. Okay? And it's only automated to an extent. You can't really automate the whole process, because on the back end you do need a human to make those paid advertising and organic decisions. Okay? And on the client side, working with the right vendor means no additional personnel that they need to hire. So typical KPIs that you might see, there could be 100 different ones, but how many calls are coming in, what's the length of those calls. If they're all less than 30 seconds, it's either a wrong number, or they could just be asking for directions or canceling an appointment. Then you can get the lead score, as I showed before. What keywords are leading to the best leads? What days and times are those best leads coming in? What percent are sales calls? What percent are just another vendor or an existing customer, things like that. And then attribution. Which of your marketing channels are producing the best leads, so you can then focus in more, or what combination of channels are producing the best leads. So how do you get started with incorporating this technology? Well, as I mentioned, the technology menu of KPIs, it really needs to be customized for each client. Yes, there is a common, back end for a lot of this technology, but what's useful to you may not be useful to another customer or client in a different sector, okay, a different vertical. So it simply involves a no-cost discovery call to understand, what is your value proposition? What are you doing now? What are your goals and needs? And that's really it. So you can call us at 888-885-8675. You can email us at info@aipoweredmarketing.org, or fill out a contact form on the website, which is aipoweredmarketing.org. There's a lot more information on our website. We'd love to speak with you. We know we can help. We have a very consistent track record with increasing revenue for companies and decreasing the customer acquisition cost. Thank you very much.